Namaste, Namaste, and welcome to this short chair yoga practice for the root chakra. Now, today we will spend some time on our feet and some time seated in the chair. So if you're looking for a chair-based practice that is all in the chair, this is perhaps not the one for you. However, if you're looking to move your body a little bit using the chair for support as well, then this practice is definitely for you. Today we're focused on Muladhara chakra, the root chakra, Mula meaning root and Adhara meaning support. It is depicted as the red chakra on our meditating person here, and also our red chakra flag above. Red is the color associated with the chakra. The sound associated with it is lam. The element associated is earth, and it's also seated in the body quite low down, around about the cervix or the perineum in most people. And it's associated with the adrenal glands, which means that it's about security, stability, and our instinctual behaviors as well. So today we're going to actually start our practice standing up. We will come to sitting down in a moment, but to begin with, standing up on your feet, coming up onto your tiptoes and walking around the space that you have in your room, as high on your tiptoes as you can, to feel those parts of the feet that are in contact with the floor. Try to walk quite naturally, lifting your head and letting your arms swing, keeping your chest lifted as well. When you've done a few rounds on your toes, you can float your heels to the floor, take a moment, and then walk around on your heels, lifting your toes off the floor. This is a little bit harder, this one. Try to do it gracefully if you can. Keep a little softness in your knees. And again, swinging the arms. Try to make your walk quite natural without sticking your bottom out too far or keeping your legs too straight. When you've gone around a few times, floating your toes to the floor, taking a moment, and then walking on the outside edges of your feet by rolling your insteps away from the floor, and just do the best that you can. You perhaps want to change direction if you've been walking around in a circle. Again, keeping the knees nice and soft, feeling the parts of the foot that are on the floor. Trying not to thump too much. If, like me, you're inclined to walk like an elephant. And when you've done a few rounds, floating the foot back to the floor so that you're standing on your whole foot. And we'll finally come to the inside edges of the feet, rolling the outside edges of the feet away from the floor. And again, trying to walk quite naturally, noticing how your feet feel against the floor. And this is great if you can do it on a hard wood surface or a hard floor surface. But if you can't, don't worry about that. Once you've been around a few times, again, bringing your feet to the floor, standing on your whole foot, just noticing how that feels, the sensations across the sole of the foot, and see if you are more aware of your foot in general than you were when you started your practice. So much of what we do with the root chakra is based on the part of the body that is in contact with the floor. And for most of us, this is the feet and perhaps the bottom, the seat as well. So here, standing on your feet, taking your feet a nice wide distance apart to provide that wider base, that firmer, more secure stability. A little softness in the knees. Feel your weight in your feet, in your heels, in the toes, in the ball of the foot, any part of the foot that you can feel touching the floor. Just observe that sensation. And then when you're ready, drawing a little bit in across the abdominal muscles, gently twisting from side to side. And this practice is designed to alleviate some of the tension that we have across our postural muscles, the ones that keep us upright during the day. But also it brings us to that awareness of the central line of energy through the body. And the root chakra, Muladhara, is the base of that central line. It's the first of the 7 major chakras. Allow your arms to be loose, your shoulders relaxed, the hands to lightly tap the body wherever they happen to fall. Notice your weight across the soles of your feet. Perhaps you have a sensation of the soles of the feet moving, or the weight changing front to back on the feet, side to side, between left and right. If you'd like to, you can pivot on your toes, freeing the heel of the foot you're moving away from as you twist. And in this way, we take the weight more to one side and then the other. This has a balancing effect on that root chakra. If you'd like to add something, you can add a little bend in the knees in the center. Just an optional extra for those who would like to activate those large supporting muscles of the buttocks, the legs. And if you'd like to add something else, you can touch your opposite shoulder in front of you and your opposite hip behind you. When you're ready, you can allow your bounce to go and simply pivot on the toes, and then bring the feet back to stillness and allow the body to sway back to stillness in its own time, losing just a little momentum at a time. When you come back to standing steady, gently rolling your shoulders, just a touch. It's nearly impossible to work one chakra on its own. So often what we do is focus on the whole of the spine and then also the feet. Rolling the shoulders the other way keeps the rest of our energetic channel nice and open. We're going to come back to sitting on our feet just for a moment while we focus on some initial limbering. So now our feet are very active, and throughout the class you may wish to check in with your feet and how they're feeling and how connected they feel. And if you don't have those sensations, that's okay, they will come with some practice. Let's begin by sitting towards the edge of your seat so that you encourage the body to sit tall, resting your hands in chin mudra, first fingers and thumbs together, other fingers long, resting the palms up or down as you choose. This is the mudra for the root chakra. Allow that gentle encouragement of the crown of the head upwards, the shoulders down, a gentle engagement across the belly muscles, then closing your eyes or gazing gently downward. Check in with how your body feels right now. Do you feel that sense of connection in the feet, or perhaps between the bottom and the chair? Does that feel like a stable foundation? Are you able to feel grounded, secure? Notice how you're breathing. And first observing your natural breath. And then when you're ready, developing a deeper breath. As you exhale, gently engaging the abdominal muscles, just a touch to help the air leave the lungs. And breathing deeply in to the base of the rib cage, the sides, the chest, the upper back. Breathing out a long, slow, deep breath. Engaging across the navel just to help that breath out. Breathing in, see how low down in your lungs you can feel the breath moving into the body. How much space you can fill through the rib cage. And breathing deeply out. Continue in this way, connecting with that deep breath. Slow and steady in. Slow, steady, and completely out. At the end of your next exhalation, keeping the body very upright apart from the chin drawing towards the chest. And allowing, as the head comes forward, just the head to come forward as far as gravity allows, without forcing or pressing the head down. And then a gentle roll of the right ear towards the right shoulder, chin back to the chest, and left ear to left shoulder. And continue slowly and steadily from side to side, noticing if there's any change in that feeling of stability and support from the seat of the body and the feet of the body. The next time your chin comes to your chest, just finishing. Smiling gently to yourself and bringing your head back to center. Relaxing the hands, opening the eyes if they're not already open, and taking a moment to again just roll the shoulders here. A few times in each direction. And relaxing the hands back onto the thighs. Now here, if you would prefer to, you can hold onto your seat or your hips. We're going to widen the feet so that we provide a bigger area of support, almost like a triangle between the feet and the center of the spine at the back of the body. And if you want to, if it's more comfortable for your hips, you can turn your toes out and you can settle yourself a little bit further onto the chair so the whole of the buttocks are supported, and perhaps a little bit into the top of the thighs. Resting your hands wherever is comfortable, sides of the body, sides of the chair, thighs. We're going to stir ourselves around in a circle. So imagine you have a pencil on top of your head and you're drawing a circle around on the ceiling. And simply leaning a little bit to each side, forwards and backwards, connecting those four corners into a circular shape. Have a little bit of action across your belly muscles, just to feel supported and secure in your movement. And when you're ready, you can change direction. And if it's helpful, you can allow your neck to be part of the movement of the spine, allowing a little movement through the head and the neck, so that you don't feel you're holding rigidly at the end of this movement. We'll do one more in this direction. And when you're ready, coming back to center. You can keep your feet where they are if it feels comfortable to have this more open stance. And we'll do a little bit of limbering through the spine as well. So taking your arms nice and wide, opening your chest. And then as you exhale, drawing your elbows towards each other, rounding through the spine, chin to chest, scooping the belly in as you round forward. Press into your feet for support. Breathe in, take the arms wide, nice soft elbows. You can lengthen the arms more if you would like to, looking slightly up. And as you breathe out, rounding through the spine, chin towards the chest, elbows tucked in together. Breathing in, opening, expanding that space down the front of the body, firm in your seat and your feet. Breathing out, rounding through the back of the body, curving everything in towards the heart in the front. Breathing in one more time. Breathing out, rounding through. And we'll finish just by breathing in to sit tall and turning the palms as you float the arms down to the side. And as you do that, perhaps rolling the shoulders, individual rolls if you prefer, or rolling together if you like. Then bringing yourself back to center, we're going to keep this wider stance, soften the right elbow, and make circles with this right arm. So again, feeling the foundation of your feet and the seat of your body, nice and grounded and supportive as you make the movements with your arm. If you would like to, you can move more of your body as your arm moves, feeling the engagement across the abdominal muscles, the switching on of supportive muscles in the back of the body, the sides of the body. Allow your head to move as you move, if that feels comfortable. If you get dizzy, just look at one point and allow the rest of your body to move, a bit like a ballerina spotting. When you're ready, you can gently change direction. You can start small, or you can allow the whole body to move. And notice in your seat and your feet where you feel your weight moving, where you feel that sense of connection, grounding, support. And that support allows us to explore movement in our body. One more in this direction. And resting your arm down to your side. Relax the hand to somewhere that feels comfortable. And notice the difference between the two sides of the body. We'll work to the opposite side, nice and soft in the elbow. Start with some gentle movements. They don't have to be big. You can start small, and you can keep them small if small feels good to you. When you're ready, you can allow the rest of the body to respond to your movement. Perhaps you have a sense of the sides of the body, the back, the neck, all responding, all wanting to get involved in this movement. And as you do that, feel the foundation of your seat and your feet. Very good. When you're ready, you can change direction. You can start small on your direction change if you want to. And whenever you're ready, allow the rest of the body to get involved in that movement just as much as you'd like to. It might be that your movement looks a little more subtle, or it might be more expressive. Go with your flow, whatever you're feeling today. Very good. One more in this direction, and then floating your arm back to your side, making any wriggles or wiggles that feel good, maybe shaking out the hands. And we can do the same with our feet as well. So let yourself sit a bit further back into your chair, free your feet from the floor and give them a little bit of a wiggle or a shake. You can do this one at a time if it feels better. And you can shake out your low legs or the rest of your legs as much as possible as well. It feels a bit weird. So here we're going to just wriggle through our toes as well. We did that lovely walking exercise earlier, which really helps our ankle mobility. Once you've wriggled out your toes, you can roll in your ankles a few times in each direction. And again, if it's more comfortable, you can hold your leg and do one foot at a time. One leg at a time. Very good. And then just bending and stretching. Again, you can do this by kicking individually or bending and stretching both legs at the same time. Very good. And now we're going to come back up onto our feet. So to get up from the chair, we're going to do a practice of getting up, which is really good for building strength in our foundational limbs, so our feet and our legs as well. Foundational limbs is maybe a little bit of a convoluted way of saying it, but you know me, I'm all for convoluted. So we're going to place the feet a good distance for you apart, so whatever feels good, and try to make your feet feel really secure. So you're pressing them down into the floor. If you want to open the toes out a little bit, that's okay. Try not to have them turning in. We're going to reach the hands forward, lean forward or dive forward a little bit until you feel the weight of your body coming towards your feet. And you can pulse here a little bit if you'd like to. And when you feel that you can just gently rock onto the feet, rock back onto your seat, rock onto your feet, back onto your seat a few times. And when you're ready, you can rock onto your feet, press into the feet, stand tall, take the arms wide, lengthen through the legs, maybe even feel the buttocks engage. And then we're going to bend the knees nice and slowly. Think about sticking your bottom out behind you so that you feel your bottom touch down and you can gently relax onto it. Now, obviously you want to make sure that your chair is not going to move anywhere. So if you need to place your chair up against the wall or a piece of furniture, then that's okay. Let's do this 4 more times. So we're going to reach forward, rock our weight onto our feet, stand tall, engage through the buttocks, open the chest, and then bring ourselves back into that sort of squatting position, just reaching the tailbone back to find our seat without thumping down onto it, gently releasing down. And that's what develops the strength. Reach forward, allow your weight to rock onto your feet, press into your feet to stand tall, engage the buttocks, open the chest, and then bending the knees and gently lengthening the tailbone down to find your seat. 2 more, reaching forward, rocking to stand tall, and then gently bending, releasing the tailbone backwards, using your arms and your upper body as counterbalance. Last time, we'll stay standing, rocking forward to stand tall, and here floating the arms down to the side. Taking a moment to find yourself upright, making sure that you feel nice and secure. And then we're going to come to the back of our chairs. I should just do this sideways on because it's easier for you guys to see. And using your chair for support, give your legs a little bit of a shake. So if that's not comfortable to do standing up, you can do it sitting down, of course. But a little bit of a shake to shake out any tension from that practice. And it also helps us to, when we shake, which we can do also with our bottoms or with our arms as well, we allow some of the effort, the tension that builds up in our fascial tissues that connect every bone and muscle and organ together to release as well. So that tension that's deeper held that we're sometimes less aware of than muscular effort. And then here we are at the back of our chairs. We're going to do a little floating up onto the toes exercise. So stand tall, engaging through the belly, resting the hands on the back of your seat, or you can hold onto a wall if you prefer. Lengthen through the crown of the head. The feet a nice comfortable distance apart, perhaps hip width or slightly wider if you prefer. And then floating up onto your toes, heels away from the floor, and floating the heels back down to the floor. So just a few times like this. We're coming up onto tiptoes, feeling that lift, the rest of the body looking very effortless. Floating up, floating down, and we'll do one more like that. Coming up onto tiptoes and releasing down. At the bottom of this movement, we're going to simply bend the knees just to ease out any tension from the calf muscles. You can do a bounce if you like. And we're also going to take a downward dog here. So hands on the back of the seat, walking your feet away from you until you feel that you don't want to lean on the chair. So I'm not trying to get myself into a position where I push my chair away. I've got my feet firmly underneath my body, bending the knees and allowing my tailbone to come backwards a little, chest to come down towards the floor. Knees remain very soft here, And you can either wiggle your hips from side to side like you're wagging a tail, or perhaps you want to bend and lengthen your legs alternately, walking your dog. At the same time, let's feel that grounded support from the palms of the hands pressing into the chair back. So we're not just relaxing here, we're using those arms as well. When you're ready, coming back to center, soften the knees, look forward towards the seat and walk yourself in towards your chair. Take a moment as you become upright again to allow the blood to get back to all of the places it's supposed to be, in this position at least, and notice how it feels to stand on your feet. Hopefully that length will have loosened off any tension in the back of the body, and we can carry on with our heel lifting. So for anyone who found coming up onto the toes of both feet challenging enough, stick with that. And if you would like to add an extra challenge, we're going to start with the right foot first. So you can wrap the left foot a little bit behind your ankle, or you can step the left toes onto the top of your right foot, whichever of these feels comfortable. You can simply hover the foot off the floor if you like. Again, trying to stand tall. Now standing on just one foot, try to avoid sagging your right hip out to the right. Allow it to be over your ankle. And then floating up onto the tiptoes of your right foot and floating your heel down. Just 4 of these, floating up, little firmness in the belly, floating down, head lifted, there's no need to look down, floating up, floating down. We'll do 5, so 2 more, floating up, floating down, and last one, floating up and floating down. And then step onto both feet and just paddle or march your feet, your legs out a little bit to feel the difference between the two sides, to realign the weight through both feet. Notice how they feel, one side and then the other. And then we're going to do the opposite leg. So now the left leg will be our standing leg. You can wrap your right foot in front, behind, or simply float it off the floor. Try to avoid sagging into that left hip. Let it stay over the left foot. Stand tall, activate the belly muscles, floating up onto the left toes and floating the left heel back down to the floor. Floating up and floating down. Really nice, smooth movement. Floating up. Floating down. We'll do 2 more. Remember, you can do it on both feet if this feels like a challenge too far for today. Build up your strength by doing both legs at the same time, and you'll be able to do 1 at a time in the future. Step onto both feet. Again, a little bit of marching here. And then stand on both feet and just observe how that feels in the back of the legs, perhaps in the hips, across the abdomen, maybe in the base of the spine. Notice how strong and stable you feel when you've got 2 feet on the floor. Awesome. Little bend of the knees, just to, in my case, crack the ankles, but to lengthen out the calf muscles. And then another downward facing dog. So hands on the back of your seat, taking your feet away from you, lengthening the tailbone out, bring your torso down towards parallel with the floor. We're aiming in that direction, it doesn't have to be. A little scoop of the belly in, and this time softening the knees and swaying the hips from one side to the other. Now just go as far as feels comfortable, and you'll get a little stretch down the side of the body, a little length there in the space. And also notice where your weight is across your feet as you use them as your foundation for stability here. When you're ready, coming back to the center, taking a deep breath in, deep breath out, and then with nice soft knees, looking towards your seat, walking your feet in, standing tall. If you need to, sigh out through your mouth. Sometimes we have something that comes up that needs to go, and that's a really nice way to let it go. Okay, so now we're going to use the support of our chair to again do some 1 foot exercises or posture work. So here, if you want to, you can simply step your left foot away from your right foot and back together again. And if you would like to, you can swing your left foot out and back together. So let's do a few of both, and you can choose which works best for you as you're doing this video in the future. So starting as your right foot, your standing leg, stepping out with the left foot and back together, stepping out and back together, just taking that weight onto the left side, pressing back. Let's do 2 more. Out, back together. Chair is for support. Doesn't matter how far out you go. And then once you've done out and together, let's do a little swing of the left leg out to the side. A little firmness in the belly here. Just 4 or 5 of these. And then step onto both feet. Notice how that feels between the 2 sides of the body. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. So using your left leg as your standing leg, firm support, stepping the right foot out, stepping both feet towards each other. They don't have to be absolutely together. Stepping out, stepping back. You can make a much smaller step if you want to. Just notice your feet on the floor, that stability, that foundation. Last one, stepping together. And then here in the center, using that support, using the belly muscles, swinging the right leg out to the right and back in. Just doing 4 or 5 of these. I can never remember to keep count, but that should be enough. Stepping onto both feet and then marching. You can do that hands free if you want to. You can use the chair for support. Very good. Smashing stuff. So now we're going to do this with a little twist. So again, the right leg being our foundation leg, we'd probably use the left hand on the left hip this time. I want you to step to the side, looking towards your left, and then step back together. If you want to, step to the side, step back together. We can use the arm as well. Step, open the left arm, and bring the left hand back. Opening to the left, and back. Opening to the left and back. We'll do 1 more. Open and back. And then here, we're going to lift our left leg behind the body. So kicking backwards. 1, 2, 3, firm in the belly. 4, 5. A nice swing of the leg and step onto both feet. Feel the difference between the 2 sides of the body. Perhaps you'd like a little wriggle. And that can be quite a nice thing to do. And then the same thing on the other side. I'm just checking I've got enough room here. So taking your weight onto your left foot, firm in your belly, right hand on right hip to begin with. Just step and twist to the right and return. Step and twist to the right and return. Maybe do it with your right arm opening as well. Return. Step and twist and return. Last one. Step and twist and return. Very good. And here, just kicking back, swinging that leg 3, 4, 5 times. Return. So here, a little march in place. And then we're going to take our feet a touch wider apart. Toes pointing out ever so slightly, or perhaps more if you need, and trying to keep our weight into our heels. Bend at your knees, allow your knees to follow the line of your toes. If that means you need to turn your toes out more, that's okay. Bend at the knees, weight into your heels. Just come down to a comfortable spot. Make sure you're engaging in your abdominal muscles, lengthening through the crown of your head. Hold for as long as feels comfortable, and then return to standing. So you don't need to hold for long. You can go up and down. We'll do 1 more, or you can go up and down as many times as you can in that time. Gently bending into the knees, feeling your weight in your heels as well as your toes, but mostly in your heels, keeping the body upright, trying not to lean forward as you do this. And then gently pressing back to standing, we'll turn our toes in. And here again, giving the legs a nice little shake out to the sides, shake out to the sides. So there are lots and lots of things that we could do in a class like this, but this is just a short practice to get those muscles moving and strong and supportive so that you feel that firm foundation throughout your life. So coming to sitting again now, and if you need to, you can give any muscles that have worked hard a little rub or a little shake or a jiggle or a pat, whatever feels good. And perhaps as you sit in your seat, sitting all the way back and rolling again your ankles. Always a lovely thing to do, because that pumping action that the calves provide supports the blood flow back towards the heart. If you feel that sitting is something that you do a lot in your day, then this is a great practice to alleviate some of that pooling of the blood and energy that becomes stagnant in our lower bodies. So I will leave you here at this point. I hope that you continue to do a little relaxation, a few moments of deep breathing, or listening to a wonderful piece of music or sounds of nature around you. And I will see you next time when we will be looking at the sacral chakra, the next one on our journey up towards the crown of the head. Thank you for joining me today. Namaste.